There was a day that I became wealthy. I'll tell you the day, I know that day I was rich. I was broke, I was pissed, I was angry at everybody else but who? Myself. But really underneath it, I was mad at myself. I just couldn't beat myself up anymore, so I was pissed. And I had a friend that I loaned money to when I had barely enough, and I knew he needed it, and I gave him $1,200, and I'm here not able to eat. I'm down to like $25, $26, and I'm saying to him, calling him, and he's not returning my call, and I just need some money, and he's ignoring me. I didn't ignore him then, so I'm pissed. I'm frustrated. In the midst of all this, I'm also pragmatic. I got 25 and change, call it $26. What the hell am I gonna do? I don't have any plans for economics. I got overhead that's crazy. I'm living in this little tiny apartment, 400 square feet in Venice, California. So I thought, okay, when I was totally broke early on, when I was 17, I used to save my money up and go to the smorgasbord and load up for Christmas, load up for the week. So I said, I was in Venice, I'm gonna go over to Marina del Rey, where all the yachts are, and there's a place there called El Torito, and I'm gonna go, they have an all-you-can-eat smorgasbord, I'm gonna load up for the winter. I'm gonna get there. So I didn't drive there, because I wasn't gonna spend the gas to get there, plus I needed to walk, so I walked there. And I go in, I'm not dressed really great, but it's Marina del Rey, it's okay, and I got a place right by the window, and I can see these yachts going by, and I'm dreaming of what life could be like, and I'm starting to let go of my anger, and I'm starting to focus on what I want instead of what I don't want. How many followers say I? And that shifted me just a bit, and now I'm eating, which shifted me a lot. And I got this giant plate stacked up, and I don't know what the amount was. It was like, whatever it was, $6.95, $7.95, right? So I'm gonna do this. I could probably do this 3 or 4 times, right? Somewhere in that range. As I'm finishing my meal, this little boy comes in, dressed in a little suit. I honestly don't know how old he'd be, probably in the 3rd grade, so maybe 8 years old, 9 years old, something like that. And he was so adorable, and he opened the door for his mother, and his mother was an attractive lady, and he came over and he pulled out the seat for her, and she sat down, and she was a pretty lady, but as pretty as she was, I was totally obsessed by this boy. He had presence at 7 or 8 years old, and it moved me. I don't know why, it moved me. And I thought, this kid is like pure. I want him to always be this way. He's such a good kid, he's a giver. So I got up and I paid for the meal, and whatever it was, $6, $7. So now I've got whatever left, $17, $18, $19. And I walk up to this little boy, and I said, excuse me. And I said, I just want to acknowledge you for being such an extraordinary gentleman. I said, I saw the way you treated your lady, how you opened the door, how you pulled the chair out. I said, that's class. I said, my name's Tony, what's yours? And I don't honestly remember his name, Charlie or something. And he looked up at me and I said, Charlie? I said, that's amazing, taking your date out for a lunch like this. He goes, well, actually, she's my mom. And I said, that's even more cool. And he said, oh, but I'm not taking her lunch because I think he said he was 8. I said, oh, yes, you are. And I had no plan for this. I just reached in my pocket, I took all the money I had left, $17, $18, $19, and I put it on the table. I said, you're taking her to lunch. He looked up at me and he goes, I can't take that. I said, sure you can. He said, why? Because I'm bigger than you are. And he smiled real big, and I didn't even look at his mom. I just turned and walked away. And I didn't walk out of that door. I flew home. I should have been freaking out. How the fuck am I gonna eat? But I didn't. I flew because something inside of me had finally got past scarcity. Had finally realized there's something inside of us more than our limits, especially around this thing called money that I had let terrorize me. And I got home, and the mailman came that day, and I had no idea how I was gonna have my next meal. And a letter comes, and it's from the guy I loaned the money to. Handwritten notes saying, I've been avoiding you, it's wrong, I'm so sorry, you were there when I needed you. Here's what I owe you plus a little bit more. And the $1,200 was there, plus another $100 for the time that I had to take care of it. And for me, $1,300, that was enough to run my show for a month or 2. And I cried, and then I decided, what does this mean? And I thought, this means that whenever you give, it's always going to come back, so you don't have to ever think about that again. Just give. And the rewards will be greater than you can ever imagine. I don't know if that's coincidence, but I decided to believe that day was a blessing when I became rich. And I can tell you honestly, I've had tough days in my life, economically, emotionally, like all of us. But I've never gone back to that scarcity. I never will. The secret to living is giving. Do it when you don't have it, and I promise you, scarcity will leave your life. Sometimes we get in our head there's one way, and if we don't get that, if we don't get that money, or if we don't get that job, or if we don't have this relationship a certain way. So what you have to do is set a goal. You got to say, okay, if you looked at your relationship and you went, okay, we have so much love and certainty, but there's not enough variety and significance, then what are you going to do to create some variety and significance? And you start coming up with all these cool ways to do it, and it becomes a game. And when you start doing that, now your relationship is pure magic, because now it's meeting your needs for certainty and uncertainty and significance and love. And anything meets at least how many needs? How many? Will become an addiction. Do 4 or 5. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you meet one of their needs, you're going to have an acquaintance. You meet 2 of their needs, you're going to have a friend. You meet 3 of their needs, you're going to have a deep friendship or love. You meet 4 of their needs, it's going to be a deep love. You meet 5 or 6 of their needs, you're going to have a love slave. They ain't going anywhere. But it's got to be you meeting their needs, not the other way around. And then you can educate them to meet your needs. You can help them to show them what works. But first you meet their needs, because you're loving them. Love is not a trade. You need an excuse to feel good. What if I don't need an excuse to feel good? I can just feel good for no good reason. How many like this idea? Say I. Now notice when I first said it, you guys are kind of quiet, processing it. Like, I don't need a reason to feel good? Well, how do I know to feel good? Some people say that sounds really naive. Really? Most people don't need a reason to feel bad. How's it going? Feel like crap. How come? Woke up. And people go, I understand. What if you went to somebody and said, how's it going? They go, I feel so great. How come? I don't know. I just feel good. You go, take that guy to the psychiatrist. Right? They're manic. They're crazy. But somebody else who's depressed and angry and frustrated, you think that's totally normal. That's the cultural hypnosis that we've all been in, no matter what country we live in. People come to me all the time, and they'll come to me like this, and they'll go, Mr. Robbins, I don't know what it is. I just feel down all the time. Why do you think I feel that way? Someone say, I feel so up. Why do you think I feel so up all the time? I don't know. Maybe it's your body. People come up to me and they go, Mr. Robbins, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I'm angry all the time. Do you know what it is? Perhaps it's your face. See, do we get in habits of using our body, our face in a certain way over and over again? Yes or no? And those produce our emotion. Once you're in that state, you'll behave in a way that creates more of that emotion. When you're angry, you'll do things that make you more angry. When you're sad, you'll do things that make you more sad. When you're excited, you'll do things that make you more excited. How many follow? Say I. So the secret is to build emotional biceps. Emotional fitness by going in these states over and over again. Normally, when I'm trying to explain to someone what is an extraordinary quality of life, it's different for everybody, right? Really, an extraordinary life is life on whose terms for you? And so everybody in this room has a different model of the world of what that would look like. What would be an even more magnificent life? What would be an even more extraordinary life? There's only 2 master skills to do this, and I want to remind you of those 2 skills because it's still the 2 skills for life. What's the first master skill to having an extraordinary life? Do you remember? It's the science of achievement. If you're going to have an extraordinary life, one of the master skills for actually creating that life is mastering this. Mastering the ability to take what you envision and make it real. There's a science to achievement. There's a science to, for example, money. I just spent 4 years, as most of you know, interviewing 50 of the smartest people on the planet financially. I learned more than I ever imagined. I got a PhD in finance from the people that control the world economy. And they're all people that were not part of the lucky sperm club. I didn't interview anybody that got it from their family by birthright. I did it with people that all started with nothing. And I began to see there's common patterns. And once you know what those patterns are, I don't care if you're young or old, I don't care what your color is, I don't care what your gender is, I don't care what country you're from. If you understand the science of building wealth, you can have abundance financially. If you violate those rules, either because you're ignorant to them or because you just don't apply them, you're going to have financial stress. There's a science to the body. Everyone here is biochemically different, but there's certain fundamental rules, laws, that if you violate them, you're going to have a lack of energy. If you really violate them, you're going to have dis-ease in the body. That's what it means, dis-ease. It comes from violating those rules. If you align with the rules of achievement around the body, you'll have an abundance of energy. You'll feel strong. You'll have an extraordinary body and the extraordinary energy that comes with it. So, science of achievement is something most of you are quite obsessed by, or you wouldn't get to a room like this. But there's a second master skill to have an extraordinary life, and that second skill is the art of fulfillment. When I talk about the art of fulfillment, what I explain to people always is, I didn't say science of fulfillment. Why not? Because it's different for everyone, just like art. What one person thinks is beautiful, somebody else might think is ugly. So if you want to know what's beautiful, as many people there are on earth, it's an art because everyone has a different view. If you want to know what God loves, the universe loves, go to the forest and see it. It's called massive diversity. It isn't a science. It's an art. But that art, unmastered, will create an ugly life. An ugly life. And the phrase I use most often that I hope you've heard me say and you take it in once again, maybe deeper, is success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. But if we don't physically make a decision how we're going to live, then we'll show up like everybody else because the human mind is not going to make you happy. This brain of yours won't do it. You have to direct it. And there's no worse fate than to achieve everything and not be fulfilled. How many have had the days where you achieved this huge goal and your brain always wanted it and you got it and then your brain went, is this all there is? Who's been there? It's the worst experience. It's worse than failing, isn't it? Because most of you are achievers, so failure never stops you. You just look at it as a little bump on the road. I'll try something, what? But when you succeed and you fail, when you succeed and you're not fulfilled, that's scary. A business has a purpose. The business is not about you. If you really have a successful business, that's how you know you have a business. It's about your clients. Some of you have fallen in love with your product, which will guarantee failure. You need to fall in love with your customer, or perhaps you need to fall in love with an ideal customer, not the one you have right now. In 2008, 2009, many businesses went under because they kept selling the same product or service instead of seeing what the customer needed today. Some went out of business because their customer had no money and they should have found a better customer, one that had money even in 2008 or 9. Here's the belief I'd like you to try on. I don't need an excuse to feel good. What if I don't need an excuse to feel good? I can just feel good for no good reason. How many like this idea? Say I. Now notice when I first said it, you guys are kind of quiet, processing it. Like, I don't need a reason to feel good? Well, how do I know to feel good? Most people don't need a reason to feel bad. How's it going? Feel like crap. How come? Woke up. In a moment, I like you to celebrate for no good reason just because you decided to. But I mean really celebrate. So you're going to rise up. Are you ready? We'll clap. When I yell 3, we go crazy. 1, 2, 3, go! That's it.